Hello everybody, thanks a lot for joining me for this video. This is going to be a little bit different kind of video because my mom is here to take part in this one with me. So,
I'm very glad.
Yay! Something we really haven't mentioned is the fact that when my mom was, what age were you when you started?
About 19.
19. She actually was running a beauty parlor, basically,
with my sister.
With her sister. For all of you out there that are interested in makeup, this takes us back to the 1960s, right?
Right.
That was when it all started for you.
Well,
so you went to beauty school, cosmetology school after high school, right?
Yeah, 65, 66 in that time frame.
So you were telling me that if you like to watch Mad Men,
yes,
it's really accurate?
Very accurate. Clothing, hair, makeup, you know, just the way they walked. Everything was just very, very close to what happened back then.
What do you see as like the biggest difference between image and the way women were then and the way they are now?
Well, I feel like they were put into a certain way of being that they really couldn't escape if they wanted to get along in the world at that time.
There was a lot of judgment based on appearance?
There were certain hairstyles that were in, there were certain hairstyles that definitely were not in, not the way it is today, which I think is a lot better today because you have this chance to be who you are and do the things that you want to do.
You got into this, you started it up with your sister Jody, my aunt, and when you started doing it, back then what people wanted was a hairdo that would last them throughout a week.
Yes.
So you would be expected, I mean, a lot of us, I think, watching this would say, I wonder if my hair can last it through an entire day, let alone a style or some kind of updo that could last a whole week. But talk a little about that.
It may not have looked that good right at the end of the week. But they came back, and backcombing was a big thing. Ratting, I don't know what you're really teasing, maybe is what the term is now. But that was a big part of the hairstyle itself. You actually created a hairstyle for these people. They knew what they wanted. You knew how to do it, and everybody was happy.
You would describe some of the styles, because I'm not even really sure what.
Well, there was really everything in length that you wanted, but everything was more precise. Flips were big, but they could be long, but they could also be very short. And very, very short hairdos were in, but they were very high. It seemed like the longer the hair at the bottom, the flatter it was on the top. And then when it was really short, it was so high on top. So you knew all of this, and as we worked in beauty school, there was always a trend going on. And so you followed those trends. And in the beauty shop, you followed them too. You know. And
you said sometimes, people would come in wanting a look that they saw on a celebrity, and you kind of kept a little, a lookbook or something full of what you were seeing that you knew that you could do, right?
Yes, and I would kind of head them toward things that I thought either their hair would do or that they would look really well with that.
Are you talking like beehives?
Yes, beehives. Everything that you ever saw that was slightly ridiculous was done there.
I think it's interesting how people talk about going to the hairdresser, to your stylist, and you kind of unload a lot of emotional baggage, I guess.
It was a time for them to do that.
What was the atmosphere like when you had somebody in there? Because it was you and your sister. You had 2 chairs. You had 2 dryers or whatever.
2 dryers going. A very small room, and really not room to do too much moving around. But everyone was comfortable there. It seemed like they liked the small atmosphere that you provided, and everybody knew you they knew you very well. You knew them, their families, their friends. I did have a few people from out of town on each side of our town come, but generally it was factory working women at that time that had the money to put out for that one time in the afternoon that they could just totally relax and have things done for them, and they felt good about it.
But it's so different from right now, where it's like everybody is kind of getting up in the morning, going through their own personal routine. Everybody's got their own, straighteners and curling irons and blow dryers and everything. But here, it was a time where you're going to basically give your hair up to whoever your stylist is, and it's almost like their hair
It really wasn't.
you
your
had
hair.
your hands in it more
That's
than they
right,
did.
and it belonged to you. You knew what to do with it. They really didn't know, and they would leave and they'd say things like, "If it could just stay like this." And that was their plan the entire week. They slept on satin pillowcases. They had head coverings that would sometimes work, for them. They had certain knowledge of certain little pin curls here and there might help them that morning, So they'd get very happy with that, and they'd feel like, I've left this a week. It still looks pretty good. I've succeeded.
Why did you first think this was something you wanted to get into to begin with?
My sister had started doing it. And,
older sister?
Yeah, older sister. She was about 3 years older. And she actually got this shop started in my parents' home before, of course, I would have. And I started learning hair from her before I went to school and actually did hair of that style. I mean, I knew the styles then that I could do. In the beauty school, you actually did work on people. So that was the way that went, and it worked out very well for both of us.
In that era, people knew they needed their hair styled, and
Yes.
business was pretty much
It
booming.
was you had every week you would do the same people, same time of day. You were booked solid if you were newly out of school because they thought, well, you probably knew the new styles, and that was very important to everyone to be very current.
Uh-huh.
And you would go out and just like Mad Men, we were talking about those various styles. I did.
I think about Joan. When I think of Mad Men, I think of the women of Mad Men. I think if anybody watches it too, you think about Joan, and hair always done.
Always.
The outfit is fitted, and everything is precise, and you feel like everything has just been so thought about, and it's all so feminine.
Oh,
you know?
yes.
And
it was a nice look. It was a nice time, but that did not fit everyone. I mean, that look even. People wanted to branch out as they do now today and be who they were and show their personality. And this way you were kind of
confined.
Like there were 3 people that wore this same hairstyle. And they didn't even maybe look alike,
Right.
or it wasn't terribly suitable for them. But that's what they did. They saw their neighbor with it. They wanted it,
Well,
So
it's
there you
interesting. It's interesting, and thank you for giving us a look into what it was like to be in beauty in those days. And if anybody else has any stories to tell, if we've got any viewers that are like my mom's age that have some memories of that too, share in the comments section, and we can talk about it some more. So thank you so much.
Thanks for having me. It was a lot of fun.
Bye, everyone.